Once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Fisher Leaders Dialogue 2022. We will begin shortly. In the meantime, kindly change your profile names into your country and your names. Thank you very much. All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining us. We are honored to be able to have with us today the different fisher leaders from around the globe. And in fact, we just heard that the Palau delegates have just concluded their national fishers leaders dialogue just now. And thank you very much for still making time to join us tonight. All right. We apologize for the slight delay of our event start, as we have been waiting for the rest of our delegates to come in. But we're pretty sure and we're pretty excited to have everyone tonight for our dialogue. And this is the first time that we're doing this at a global level for our Fish Forever countries. So it's very exciting to have all of our fisher leaders here virtually. All right. As I said, tonight is going to be a very special night as we highlight the star of our event, which is our fisher leaders, of course. And tonight we will listen and learn from you. And we look forward to your valuable insights as we discuss the different statements from our delegates today. But before anything else, to officially welcome everyone in the dialogue and share what we hope to achieve in this endeavor, let me call on RARE's Fish Forever Program Managing Director, Rocky Sanchez Terona. Hi, Rocky. Good evening to your side of the world. Hang on. We'll unmute you. All right. Sorry, Rocky. We're having a bit of a technical glitch. Can you? I still can't hear you on my side. Hang on. All right, let me just adjust that. Let's confirm from our tech team first. Hang on, Rocky. Let's just, we're requesting the tech team now to adjust our audio settings. All right, in the meantime, while waiting for that, we can play the video that we were supposed to actually play to welcome our delegates. And then we will be asking Rocky to log in once again so that we can ensure that we will have her audio as she joins us again later. All right. Can we ask our tech team if we are still able to play the video as we are waiting for Rocky to re-log in and join us? Thank you very much.
Fish if it's under 5.5 inch. So we're gonna do you a little piece of this. Just to give you a little piece of what we doing for friends of the environment. It's what is called size matters. There's gonna be two versions of it.
Size matters. I am a responsible Abacunian, protecting the crawfish population. One crawfish can produce 2 million eggs, so let's not eat them before they do. Cause if we do, there won't be any crawfish in the future for me and you. So yes, size matters. Oh yes, size matters. In Abaco is all about the size. You know, if it ain't 5.5 inches, you better let it go. Let it grow. Let it go to grow. If it ain't 5.5 inches, don't put it on my plate. Hey. I'm a responsible restaurant owner. My chef only buys the best. Only the best. We buy our tails from licensed processors who buy them from certified fishermen. In April, May, June, and July, we go to them for our supply. Yeah, that's how we are able to ensure quality of taste, product, and the right size. So yes, size If it ain't 5.5 inches, don't put it on my plate. Put it on my plate. No way. Size matters, sure do. I am a proud Abaco fisherman. I ain't got no time to play old boy. When I hook my crawfish, I always measure it. It's easy, cause I always have my gauge. That's how I know if the tail doesn't measure up. If it don't, I throw it right back. Hey! Oh yes, size matters. Oh yes, size matters. That's right. And Abaco is all about the size, you know. If it ain't 5.5 inches, you better let it go. Let it go to grow. Let it go. If it ain't 5.5 inches, don't put it on my plate. Size matters.
All right. That was a very fun video. And then here's another one from our site in Siargao, Philippines. In the meantime, we will be waiting for Miss Rocky to re-log in, as I think she has been assigned as an interpreter, so we won't be able to hear her. In the meantime, please enjoy our video.
Siargao ba handi ikaw ng mga Siargao noon? Kinaiyahan mo, amo payang gaon. Tayag sa unggasa sa kahitasan. Amok gadyo ini na ampingan. Kabukiran o kagatan. Tinugan sa amok mga pangita. Sa adlaw.
Hey, it's low power. Low power. Can you hear me now? Where are you listening?
That's perfect.
Because it's still playing. Did you unmute? Hello, can you hear me?
Mga taghimo na sanktuaryo sa kadagatan. Ato respeto.
Yes, Rocky, we can hear you.
Kay ini ang ila itluganan nan mga isda sa kadagatan. Pagpananong sa kabakhawan nagpadadyon. Lakip man sa kabukiran kag hingusgan. Mutabang sa paghinlunan basura. Dakanan ato isla mas mugana pa. Diri sa Siargao ang katawhan nagtinabangay. Nagkaisa ang tanan na maprotektahan.
All right, thank you very much. And again, we apologize for the technical glitch. I think we have Miss Rocky again on the line.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. We're really sorry. I think we might have assigned you as an interpreter. That's why we cannot hear you a while ago. Please
All right.
go ahead, Rocky.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone. I'm here in Palau and I'm really sorry if it's a little noisy here. There's a lot of activity going on. And we're here at our ocean conference where governments are renewing their commitments to the ocean. And we really believe that as part of this global discussion, it's really, really important to make sure that the voices of local fishers and coastal communities are heard and the stories are told. We want to make sure that the importance of your work to food, to jobs, and to helping communities meet the challenges of climate change is recognized and celebrated across the world, and that priorities, funding, and support are provided for local communities and coastal fishers. Thank you very much to everyone for coming, for sharing your time. We know that it's late for some of you, and we really thank you from the bottom of our hearts for spending the time to stay up and be among your fellow fishers. We hope that you enjoy interacting with others who share the same concerns, worries, and hopes for the future as you do. Thank you very, very much. And here's to a successful Fishers Dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rocky, and congratulations for being with our delegates in Palau and for just concluding the dialogue you also have there in Palau. All right, and again, apologies everyone for the technical glitch. Before we proceed with our activity, I will just make sure that everyone who needs to speak later should be able to be heard. So we are requesting our tech team to please put in the chat box the link for our speakers so that they can register again and come back as using the link that we will be sending now. So again, for our panel speakers, the fisher leaders, please click on this link that will be sent by our tech team in the chat box and kindly register again so that we can avoid for you to be unmuted later as you are able to be called to speak. Thank you very much. And again, some other technical reminders. We encourage everyone with the bandwidth, of course, to please open your cameras so that you will be part of the dialogue, the sessions, and we will be able to see each other. Those who are able to join and open their cameras, we encourage you to please open your cameras. And of course, kindly change your profile names to your countries and then your name. For example, Philippines and then Joyce Barafon. Me, by the way, from the Philippines. Okay, and then also, for those who are having trouble to click on the interpretation buttons, we might have a technical glitch on the Zoom link that you have clicked on. So again, we encourage you to click on the registration link again so that you will be properly lead to the room where you are supposed to be, and then you will be able to see the proper interpretation buttons. Again, for those who are not speaking, kindly put your microphone on mute. And then, of course, you can choose to type in the chat box if you have your positive comments and reactions, and if you want to greet your fellow delegates, of course, from other countries. For those joining the call together in the same event, please make sure to observe minimum health protocols. So we're seeing people who are in the same room together, so please stay safe as well. Also, please check in your chat box. We will be putting a link to the background. So if you're seeing my background here, it's a beautiful background. If you want to have that same background as well, you can download it from the chat box. So our tech team will also give you the link to the background here. All right. So let's give maybe a few minutes for those people who are having a hard time in accessing the translation buttons. Again, we request for you to log in again using the Zoom link differently. As you see, there are translation buttons below your Zoom frame, and then language interpretation is available in English, Portuguese, and Bahasa speaking participants. So if you prefer that the session is in another language, please select the interpretation icon once you have entered the meeting. So to avoid confusion, please click on already on your preferred language. So to hear only the interpreted language, click mute original audio. Please note that while most of the event will be held in English, for any participants sharing or asking questions in another language, there will be an English translation available. We request our country facilitators and our translators also to help our delegates as we move along our session. So again, we request all the participants to select already your preferred language so that you will be able to hear already the session in your preferred language. All right. I think we will be waiting. We will be giving at least 2 minutes just so we will have the rest of our participants just coming back in. Some of our participants were able to log in earlier, but in a different profile name. So we've asked them to re-log in, and then we've asked them also to make sure that you're able to click on your interpretation buttons. If you're not able to click on the translation buttons, please kindly get hold of your country facilitators, and then they should be able to help you re-log into our event. All right. Are we all here? Let me just go check around the room. Okay. Another one more minute. I'm just seeing some people re-logging and rejoining. Again, we would encourage everyone to engage in this dialogue. If you have reactions, if you have comments, please type it in the chat box as we will be showing the statements, and our Fisher leaders will be sharing each of the country statements as well later. And then after that, we will be having a reflection where you will have the chance to provide your inputs and comments. Our country facilitators should be able to help you in terms of getting your inputs and putting it in our mural later. All right, so it's going to be a very exciting dialogue session with our Fisher leaders. Again, this is the first time that we're doing it globally together with the rest of our Fisher delegation, actually from Palau, who are actually doing it face-to-face. And we're very happy that they have just finished this event about an hour ago. And that's the reason why we actually have a bit of a delay in the start of our virtual forum, because we've been waiting for the rest of our Fisher delegates to come. And we're very, very thankful because despite the time, it's a little bit late right now in Palau, but they chose to stay with us right now here. All right, so again, for those who are able to click on their interpretation buttons, please choose already the language that you want to prefer to listen to for the rest of the session. All right, so let's now look at the participants from all over the globe so that we know who is with us tonight. So of course, we begin with our Palau delegation, who just concluded, again, their face-to-face National Fishers Dialogue. May I call on Kevin, if you're able to introduce your delegation from Palau. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Joyce. Thank you so much. It is a bit late here in Palau, and the discussion was very robust. In fact, it's still going on. But allow me to introduce myself. I am Kevin Mesablu, Rare Implementation Manager for Palau. And with me is Fisher Leader, Mr. Omar Faustino. Just a short brief about Mr. Faustino. He is a Fisher Leader from Maliong State. He is a former site manager for conservation area. He is currently a legislator for the 10th Maliong State government, and he is the newest board member for the Palau International Coral Reef Center. And he's a very loving husband and father, and he's a good friend of mine, and he's a great guy. Thank you, Omar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi. Good
Hi,
evening.
good evening, everybody. Good evening from Palau, and it's nice and it's a pleasure to see and meet everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Omar and Kevin. Thank you very much. That's our delegation from Palau. Welcome, and thank you for staying up late, even after a long day for you guys. All right, from Palau, we now jump to our delegates from Belize.
Muy buenos días, soy Nicanor Requena, soy gerente de proyectos de Environmental Defense Fund en Belice y estoy aquí con un gran amigo, con Leovigildo Tamay de Sarteneja, un gran pescador.
Muy buenos días, mi nombre es Leovigildo Tamay, soy un pescador de la aldea norte de Belice, Sarteneja, y aquí estoy con mi amigo Nick y pesco langosta, caracol y pescado de escama, y pues es un placer para mí estar con ustedes en esta mañana aquí en la ciudad de Belice o la aldea, y buenas tardes y buenas noches en otros lugares.
Thank
Gracias.
you. Yeah. Thank you very much, our delegates from Belize, Mr. Requena and Mr. Tamay. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Now we proceed to our delegates from Brazil.
Bom dia, né? Eu sou Sandra Regina Pereira Gonçalves, sou pescadora, marisqueira, sou nativa aqui da cidade de Curuçá, aqui no estado do Pará, dentro de uma área de unidade de conservação decretada por nome Mãe Grande de Curuçá, e eu faço parte da Associação Mãe da Resex, que é a Auremag, e que nós hoje aqui estamos representando hoje aqui 12 unidades de conservação decretada aqui no Pará, mas nós representamos também todo o litoral brasileiro, que são 8.000 quilômetros de costa brasileira, onde nós estamos também aqui representando a Confrem Brasil dentro de todo um contexto de território pesqueiro no Brasil, e em prol de todo o mundo, dentro de todo esse processo aí da preservação e da conservação da zona costeira do mundo, né? Porque nós precisamos proteger e conservar todo esse oceano que nós temos, e aqui nós temos áreas estuarinas que nós muito mais devemos preservar todo esse ambiente costeiro, de onde nós tiramos o nosso sustento, de dentro desse grande de extensão de mangue, que o Pará é tem uma das maiores extensões de mangue aqui no Brasil.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sandra Goncalves from Brazil. All right, our next speaker, may we request for you to please wait for you to be shown in the camera before you introduce yourself. Okay, so from Brazil, we now proceed to Indonesia. I believe we have a fisher from the Southeast Sulawesi.
Depois a gente vai abrir para fala mesmo.
Kami, ini saya Zahidun bersama rekan saya, ya, dengan rekan saya Pak Budi. Halo. Kami ikut di konservasi ini. Sorry, minta maaf ya. Saya ulangi. Kami mengikuti kegiatan ini dari Desa Manuru, Kecamatan Siontapina, Kabupaten Buton, Sulawesi Tenggara. Kami sangat senang menangkap ikan kakap merah, kerapu dengan ikan sunu. Dan kami di sini didampingi oleh dalam acara ini didampingi oleh Pak Tarlan Subarno. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Pa Zahidun from Southeast Sulawesi and Pa Labudi. All right, we now proceed to our representatives from Mozambique. I think Mr. Machimbe is also on mute. Mr. Machimbe? Mr. Machimbe? Can we ask the interpreter for Mr. Machimbe to inform him that he's still on mute? So we'll come back to Mr. Machimbe later. And then we request him to please re-log in so that we will be able to hear him later. All right. To Mr. Machimbe of Mozambique, we are requesting you to please log in again to the Zoom, as we are not able to hear your beautiful voice. So we'll wait for you and call on you later, sir. In the meantime, let's proceed to last but definitely not the least of the countries to join us tonight. Our participants will be introduced by our senior manager, Dennis Calvan. Delegates from the Philippines.
Hi, good evening to everyone. It's my honor to introduce delegates from the Philippines. We have with us Mr. Justino Dasilio. He's fondly called as Kuya Tino. He is the current chair of the Municipal Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Management Council in the Pulilio Group of Islands in the Philippines. And he is also a candidate of the National Mangingisdang Director or Fisher Folk Director that will happen in May of this year. So thank you, Kuya Tino, for being with us tonight. We have also with us, we are very fortunate to have with us Mr. Robert Balion. He's also fondly called as Kadodoy. He is the chair of KGMC. It's an association of Fisher Folk Federation, as well as of COMFAS, the coalition of the Municipal Fisher Folk Association in Zamboanga, Sibugay. And he is, and I'm very honored to say this, that he is the Ramon Magsaysay awardee, the Fisher Folk, the only Fisher Folk who is awarded by the Ramon Magsaysay for being a very good inspiration to all of us in the fishing communities. Thank you, Kadodoy, for being with us tonight. We have also invited Miss Gavina Tumbaga. She is also the current chairperson of the City Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Management Council of the San Fernando City, La Union in the Philippines. And she also sits as one of the fisherfolk representative to the National Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Management Council. So thank you, Ma'am Bing, for being with us tonight. Thank you. That's the Philippine delegation.
Yes. Additionally, we actually also have a delegation from the Philippines from Siargao Islands. We have with us tonight Mr. Ray Caballero. Hi. Hi, sir. Okay, I think we also have a problem with the audio of Sir Ray. We will again ask them to re-log in as we are not able to hear them. A while ago, he was actually able to say hi to us. So we'll ask the team later to re-log in as Sir Ray will be giving us a statement later. Thank you very much. Okay. In the meantime, again, thank you very much, Dennis, for introducing a lot of our representatives coming in from the Philippines and joining us from the Philippines tonight. Of course, thank you very much to the rest of our participants from the rest of our countries. And if we have our delegate from Mozambique, we are requesting again, Sir Machimbe, to please re-log in so that we will be able to hear your statement later. Okay, thank you very much. So actually, before tonight's event, prior to this virtual session, the fishers from different countries were able to gather to discuss issues, concerns, and solutions to the different coastal and fisheries management situation in their communities. Let's take a look back at these country discussions through this short video.
Mi nombre es Ernesto Gastelum, buzo pescador en Puerto Peñasco, Sonora, México.
Nama saya Suhendra, tinggal di Kuala Penat.
Mi nombre es José Javier Esposito Corrida.
Mi nombre es Claudio Bichau, llevo pescando aproximadamente años.
La pesca para mí, y de ahí he mantenido mi familia, he mandado a hacer mi casa.
Saya masih sekolahkan anak aja asal dari laut.
We fish to provide for our families.
Había pesca en abundancia, pero según el ritmo del tiempo, eso va bajando y bajando y bajando hasta que nosotros llegamos a un tiempo de que nosotros decimos, ya se están acabando la pesca, está acabando el...
Lumayan, jaring 2 piece saja dapatnya banyak, 40 kilo sampai 50 kilo, jaring udang pun juga gitu. Sekarang mulai berkurang, jaring 15 piece saja dapatnya 5 kilo, 7 kilo. Mau dapatkan 10 kilo aja nggak dapat Pak, karena ada alat.
Vai sumindo peixe, camarão, caranguejo. Este ano não tivemos safra de camarão.
Ya, kenapa mga daghang gid madamage ba? Daghang kay makuha bitaw nila, uba mga matay na lang, dili na mapuslan kay tuwa naman kanang ngabaho da.
Essa maior dificuldade é quantificar a produção, né, organizar essa produção, monitorar essa produção.
A gente está vendo que está desequilibrado tanto as safras dos peixes quanto as próprias marés.
Afecta el cambio climático. Hay una serie de cosas que ya han cambiado totalmente.
Ya hemos estado observando algunos cambios en la naturaleza. Cada vez tenemos que ir más lejos, cada vez producimos menos, las tallas pequeñas, se están modificando incluso las temporadas de reproducción o las áreas de pesca, las zonas de reproducción, incluso las corrientes.
Kacauan cadangan kita dan sumber kemampuan itu artinya usia 2000 juta yang sudah climate perubahan climate change ban saya jauh awan cuaca kan harus berani
Estamos viendo huracanes, tormentas más prolongadas, más intensas.
Somos una fuente de empleo que no está reconocida.
¿Cómo podemos mitigar estos efectos? Pues cuidando nuestros manglares, cuidando nuestros humedales, usando energías renovables, energías amigables con el medio ambiente. Suena difícil, pero no es imposible.
Semua buat teman-teman yang semua nelayan, kita harus menjaga kesehatan laut. Tolong pada masyarakat, pada pemerintah, tolonglah kami untuk menyingkirkan alat tangkap yang tidak ramah lingkungan.
At the same time, I want to see more exchanges from outside. I want to see more interaction with other fishers. See how other fishers fish and adapt to their type of fishing and see how we could live and make sure we see replenish itself.
Hay que unir esfuerzos para controlar la pesca. Hacer conciencia de no agarrar los pescados pequeños. Los pescaditos más pequeños es el futuro para ser grande, entonces tenemos que dejarlos irnos.
Levar o protagonismo das mulheres através da educação financeira e também proporcionando com que elas cheguem nos espaços de decisão das áreas protegidas, no caso das reservas extrativistas.
Na nossa comunidade, as mulheres são mais empoderadas para a liderança.
Porque nós somos mulheres e nós temos forças sim para correr atrás dos nossos sonhos, do nosso objetivo e dos nossos trabalhos.
Hay que unir esfuerzos para la pesca.
Pesan saya untuk generasi nelayan yang masa mendatang, bijak menggunakan alat tangkap, jaga kebersihan laut, jangan nangkap berlebih supaya berkelanjutan.
Todos nós somos donos, bem dizer, então tem que fazer a sua parte no coletivo todo, que é justamente para a gente poder ter futuramente para os nossos netos uma sustentabilidade da pesca dentro do nosso município.
Es un sustento que nosotros tenemos el día a día o el mañana.
All right. The video you just saw earlier, again, is part of the different series of National Fishers Dialogues that were conducted as part of the Pre-Oceans Conference event by the different countries. So that was a product of all the consultations, all the dialogues and discussions among fishers from around the globe. Okay, now for the most awaited part of our session tonight, we shall be engaging our delegates as we call on the different fisher leader representatives to share to us their statements or the call to their fellow fisher leaders, country and global leaders, as well as other relevant stakeholders. All fisher representatives will have 5 minutes each to present the statements produced during their very own National Fisher Leaders Dialogues, and the presentations will be called alphabetically by country. So please take note of your observations and comments and insights, as we will have an opportunity later during the reflection session to discuss them. So again, please be reminded to switch on your translation button. For those who are having a problem on having to access the translation button, we please ask you to log out and log in again using the link that will be sent by our tech team in the chat box. Again, for those who are having a problem with their translation buttons, we kindly request you to log out and please use the link that will be forwarded by our tech team in the chat box. For Mozambique delegates, again, we request our Mozambique delegates to please log out and use the different link that will be sent by our tech team so that we will be able to hear you later during our statement. All right. Again, for the rest of our delegates, please make sure to reserve your comments and observations later during the reflection session. All right, we can now begin with our first country statement from the country of Belize. Let's have the delegate, Mr. Tamay.
Muy buenos días y gracias por la oportunidad de unirme a esta importante reunión de líderes pescadores de todo el mundo. Mi nombre es Leovigildo Tamay y yo soy un pescador de la aldea de Sarteneja en la costa norte de Belice. He estado pescando durante 37 años, al igual que otros 2.500 pescadores en Belice. Dependo del mar para mi sustento. La pesca sostenible es importante para nuestra economía y seguridad alimentaria. Represento a una generación de pescadores que ha visto muchos cambios en nuestra pesquería debido a la sobrepesca y los impactos del cambio climático. Y quiero que mis hijos y nietos puedan depender de la pesca de la misma manera que lo ha hecho mi generación. Desde mi propia perspectiva, y con una compra otros pescadores de Belice sobre cómo los gobiernos y otros actores puedan ayudar a garantizar que se mantengan los medios de subsistencia de los pescadores y la comunidad pesquera. Primero, insto a los tomadores de decisiones a que escuchen a los pescadores y prioricen nuestras necesidades al tomar decisiones de manejo. Los pescadores confían en la sostenibilidad de estos recursos. Nos vemos impactados día tras día por los efectos del cambio climático y los desastres naturales. Y conocemos la historia de nuestra pesquería sabemos que debemos hacer nuestra parte para ayudar. Sabemos que podemos mejorar nuestras acciones para proteger nuestros recursos. Cuando se nos da voz en la toma de decisiones, podemos compartir la responsabilidad de las acciones necesarias para garantizar una pesca sostenible. En segundo lugar, animo a los gobiernos a trabajar con los pescadores y otras partes interesadas para proteger los ecosistemas oceánicos en Belice. Hemos hecho esto a través de áreas de no pesca o zonas de reabastecimiento como las llamadas creo que las zonas de reabastecimiento son una parte importante de la solución, son una inversión a largo plazo porque protegen a los peces en reproducción, creando beneficio para los pescadores en el futuro en Belice. Estas zonas de reabastecimiento son parte de un sistema nacional de acceso administrado. conocido en Belice como Managed Access, que otorga a los pescadores locales derechos para pescar en ciertas áreas. Esto garantiza que los pescadores responsables y con licencia de Belice se beneficien de las zonas de abastecimiento y manejo sostenible dentro de las áreas de pesca. Tercero, necesitamos el apoyo de gobiernos y organizaciones para ayudarnos a diversificar nuestros medios de vida. Cuando a los pescadores se les brinda la oportunidad de conocer otras fuentes de ingreso, podemos aliviar la presión sobre nuestras pesquerías y seguir brindando a nuestra familia y comunidad. Finalmente, hago un llamado a nuestra juventud para que nos guíe hacia un futuro sostenible. Mi generación ha hecho nuestra parte y ha aprendido de los desafíos en el camino. Ahora es el momento de que nuestros pescadores más jóvenes desempeñen su papel hoy para asegurar el futuro del mañana. Esto asegurará el bienestar de nuestra comunidad y de nuestros países, y que las futuras generaciones puedan seguir recibiendo los regalos del mar de los que nos hemos beneficiado. En resumen, los medios de subsistencia de los pescadores dependen de tener voz en la toma de decisiones, tener protección para nuestros ecosistemas costeros y derechos que nos permitan beneficiarnos de nuestras acciones de conservación, tener apoyo para diversificar nuestros medios de vida, para apoyar la resiliencia de la comunidad y liderazgo de nuestra juventud, para asegurar nuestro futuro para las generaciones venideras. Gracias por la oportunidad de compartir estas recomendaciones. Dios les bendiga a todos.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tamay. Next, we proceed with our delegates from Brazil. I hope we are able to have them back already. May we call on Ms. Goncalves for the country statement.
Bom dia, eu sou Sandra Gonçalves, sou pescadora, pescadora de marisco aqui dentro da minha área, dentro da minha unidade de conservação, que é a Mãe Grande de Curuçá. Moro aqui dentro do litoral, né? Aqui nós moramos na parte que a gente chama que é a parte do litoral, que é o litoral paraense, que a gente vive e sobrevive da pesca aqui dentro da minha unidade, e nós, como os pescadores e pescadoras, nós sempre trabalhamos dentro da pesca sustentável e ordenada, para que a gente não tenha o desequilíbrio dentro da área estuarina, porque como a nossa área é uma área estuarina, nós não podemos trabalhar o desequilíbrio, né? Apesar de que a gente já tem um desequilíbrio por dentro das mudanças climáticas, dentro de todo um processo que se dá através do homem, né? Que muitas das vezes não pensa em que ele sabe que vai prejudicar todo o ambiente. Então, por isso, a gente tem que trabalhar cada vez mais uma pesca equilibrada, para que a gente possa estar trabalhando a pesca sustentável, para estar garantindo a segurança alimentar para todas as famílias do mundo, né? Do mundo todo, para que a gente possa realmente estar fazendo o processo realmente do pescador artesanal, que é o pescador que mais se preocupa com todo esse processo. Então, quando nós, mulheres, trabalhamos a pesca juntamente com a família, porque nós trabalhamos o círculo familiar, que é o círculo de coletivo dentro do processo, a gente, geralmente, nós mulheres, sabemos o que nós queremos, sabemos que nós estamos dentro de um processo que é um processo de equilíbrio, para que a gente possa realmente estar dando sustento para a nossa família, e muitas das vezes o governo, ele não se preocupa com essas situações. O governo, muitas das vezes, ele quer cada vez mais autorizar grandes empreendimentos dentro das áreas, para que esteja nos prejudicando os pesqueiros, né? E que hoje, aqui no Pará, nós chamamos de acres, que são os pontos pesqueiros para nós, onde nós podemos, um período a gente pesca em um, no outro período a gente pesca em outro, para dar todo o processo de todo esse equilíbrio, da sustentabilidade, para que a gente possa realmente estar dialogando com a sociedade, com o governo, com os parceiros, para que a gente possa estar tendo todo um processo de direitos nossos dentro da pesca, junto com o governo, que hoje a gente trabalha aqui uma cogestão e uma gestão participativa com o governo, que é o ICMBio, que nos ajuda dentro desse processo, mas entre eles nós temos as ONGs que fazem esse trabalho conosco, e que hoje nós temos a ONG Rari Brasil, que hoje nos apoia e faz todo um processo conosco de fortalecimento, de empoderamento para as famílias pescadoras dentro do litoral paraense, onde no estado que eu moro no estado do Pará, né? Então nós temos essa parceria com a ONG Rari, com o governo, mas a gente sabe que muitas das vezes o governo, ele mesmo é o primeiro que tira todos os nossos direitos e os nossos deveres de pauta, e que a gente sempre, muitas das vezes, vive ainda dentro de uma grande invisibilidade, que até hoje o governo nunca nos reconheceu as nossas áreas, a área de floresta de mangue como uma floresta de mangue realmente. Então, para nós, isso hoje ainda é uma grande dificuldade que nós temos aqui no Pará, aqui no Brasil, que o governo até hoje ainda não reconheceu a nossa floresta de mangue como floresta. Mas para nós ela é uma floresta, e para nós o mangue, ele é vida, para nós o mangue, ele é tudo, porque é de lá que nós tiramos o nosso sustento, que nós trabalhamos toda a nossa segurança alimentar, para que a gente possa realmente estar trabalhando juntamente com o protagonismo feminino, porque os jovens, hoje, muitos deles não saem mais do seu território, e sim estão permanecendo no seu território por verem a importância do maretório para eles, a importância da pesca, a importância da vida junto. Inclusive, hoje, a discussão aqui no Pará e no Brasil é a questão do carbono, e para nós é o carbono azul. Por quê? Porque o nosso carbono no mangue, ele atrai muito mais do que o de floresta tropical. Nós temos 5 vezes mais carbono dentro das nossas áreas, por quê? Por nós sempre trabalharmos a questão da conservação e a preservação ambiental, e todo um processo equilibrado. Então, hoje, nós, dentro dos nossos mangues, desde quando as unidades, principalmente aqui no Pará, foram decretadas, as unidades de conservação, nós entendemos que nós não poderíamos desmatar o mangue, e sim trabalhar todo o processo de reflorestamento ou manutenção do manguezal, para que hoje a gente possa realmente estar discutindo todo o processo. Então, para nós, hoje, vim participar desse evento aqui, dessa reunião, juntamente com todos os outros pescadores do mundo todo e os parceiros, junto, e principalmente a RARI, dando toda essa visibilidade para nós e nos ajudando nesse empoderamento, hoje para nós só temos a agradecer a todos, agradecer ao convite e estamos à disposição para que nas próximas atividades a gente possa estar sendo convidado, não só eu, mas outros pescadores aqui do Pará ou do Brasil para fazer parte dessas discussões, desses diálogos, né? Porque hoje ninguém briga, a gente dialoga para que a gente não tenha mais os conflitos como muitos já tiveram. Então, para nós, a gente só tem a agradecer e muito obrigado pelo convite. Obrigada, RARI, obrigada à organização do evento, muito obrigado por tudo.
Just as you are happy to join us, Ms. Sandra Golchavez from Brazil, we are also very grateful for you attending and definitely sharing to us the statement from your delegation. Again, thank you very much, Brazil. We now proceed with our next statement from the Federated States of Micronesia. We have a pre-recorded video from our delegate, Mr. Henry Edmund.
Duwanat reaction ko ito you yan men hong ni kasamilanan wa yan yan suot essential si kasamin chichik me sa patungan ya yang saw-saw ko yang kasamilanan wa ay jual pagpag hong no way law kan me may ka yang besumbol ki apa itu kasamilanan wa ka kis kala we have been kasamin me and Pasaka do para so so simpan kalau me and we talk on the level yan ang kapyo so power the web technology the web so we have kalau pada me ka so kala sa milana ko imin pa so sa kita sukses mo pwede at we are sharing with the niasum climate kiuklanan mo the climate change plan change up we are all kapal kan harus membantu di what the budget so right now lihat semua dokter di so di rumah dokter cara kita bayangkan yang kesempatan kita ada sokan koros ba ya kamao ka o pila so ka poi pa na so le ko ka ya mewat mi ba mao ya mo kailangan
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Edmund from the Federated States of Micronesia. Next, to read the statement from our delegates from Honduras, we have Mr. Nicanor Riquena.
Muy buenos días, es un placer poder compartir estas palabras por parte de los pescadores, delegación de Honduras. Nosotras y nosotros, pescadores artesanales del Caribe de Honduras, que representamos a más de 15,000 familias que junto con nuestras comunidades dependemos directamente del mar, aprovechando la conferencia internacional Nuestros Océanos que se está desarrollando en la isla Palau y que este año, según las Naciones Unidas, es el año internacional de la pesca artesanal. Queremos recordarles que para nuestras comunidades desde hace muchas generaciones, el mar es es la fuente de riqueza, los peces son nuestra vida y nuestro futuro depende del mar. En los últimos años hemos visto a nuestros hijos y familias irse de nuestras comunidades del país en busca de nuevas oportunidades. El cambio climático y la sobreexplotación de nuestro mar ha afectado nuestra vida cada día. Se hace más difícil pescar lo suficiente para sostener a nuestras familias y comunidades. Estamos convencidos de que la mejor manera de recuperar la pesca es trabajando juntos. Nosotros, siendo buenos conocedores del mar, debemos ser tomados en cuenta para su protección. Queremos ser escuchados, queremos aportar nuestro grano de arena. En nombre de las miles de familias que dependemos del Mar Caribe de Honduras, a las autoridades centrales, especialmente a la Secretaría de Agricultura y Ganadería y a la Dirección General de Pesca y Acuicultura, les pedimos que hagan las gestiones necesarias para que la pesca artesanal sea una prioridad en la agenda de este gobierno. También que se nos permita dar nuestra opinión y apoyo cuando se tomen decisiones sobre la pesca y nuestro mar. Y les pedimos urgentemente a que el gobierno lidere las acciones necesarias para proteger y hacer buen manejo del mar. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much for reading the statement from our delegates, Mr. Nicanor. Muchas gracias to you and your group of fisher leaders from Honduras. All right, next to give their country statement, we have our representative from Indonesia, Pa Labudi.
Halo, nama saya Labudi. Saya sudah menjadi nelayan selama 30 tahun. Dan setelah adanya program akses area perikanan dan kawasan larang ambil, masyarakat banyak sekali merasakan perubahan-perubahan di wilayah pesisir. Masyarakat bisa menjaga terumbu karang dengan baik, kemudian ikan-ikannya juga bisa tumbuh dan bagus. Kemudian masyarakat bisa tahu bagaimana cara memanfaatkan laut itu dengan baik. Bagaimana cara menggunakan alat-alat tangkap dengan baik dan benar. Masyarakat bisa tahu bahwa mana lokasi kawasan larang ambil dan mana lokasi pengolahan akses area perikanan. Kemudian setelah kita bentuk kelompok PAAP atau pengolahan akses area perikanan, sebelumnya kita tidak saling mengenal karena kita membuat kelompok berdasarkan orang-orang yang berbeda latar belakang. Setelah adanya kelompok PAAP, kita bisa saling mengenal. Kita bisa saling bertukar pikiran terkait hal-hal yang belum pernah kita ketahui. Dan kita bisa kompak dalam melaksanakan kegiatan-kegiatan di wilayah PAAP dan KLA. Manfaat yang dapat kita ambil dari program PAAP dan KLA sebenarnya sangat besar sekali, sangat bagus sekali. Dan berdasarkan pengalaman yang saya dapat dari program ini, banyak sekali hal-hal yang belum pernah kita rasakan. Misalnya, yang tadinya pengolahan perikanan tidak bagus, kemudian tidak dikelola dengan baik, kemudian banyak nelayan luar juga yang datang ke kawasan pesisir kita, dan mereka mengambil saja maunya hasil-hasil perikanannya kita. Itu sudah mulai bisa kita atasi dengan adanya program akses area perikanan atau PAP dan KLA. Jadi, saya di sini melalui kesempatan ini, saya mengajak semua masyarakat yang ada di wilayah pesisir Sulawesi Tenggara dan Indonesia, mari kita sama-sama kita buat PAP, program PAP dan KLA di laut kita masing-masing. Karena banyak hal yang kita pelajari di sini. Banyak manfaat yang kita dapat, terutama terumbu karang, dan terumbu karang kita bisa lebih terjaga dengan baik. Kemudian tempat mencari ikan masyarakat juga di wilayah pesisir tidak terlalu jauh dan tidak memerlukan banyak pengeluaran untuk melaut. Dan di PAP dan KLA itu masyarakat bisa terlibat, mengelola, menjaga, dan memanfaatkan lautnya dengan baik dan benar. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pa Labudi from Indonesia, and to the rest of our delegates in Indonesia. Thank you very much for the wonderful statements. At this point, let us pause for a short break, and when we come back, we will hear the last 3 statements from the rest of our delegates. All right, in the meantime, here is a video of an inspirational story of a fishing community in the Philippines led by Roberto K. Dodoy Balon, who is a 2021 Ramon Magsaysay awardee. The annual award established to honor the examples of integrity in governance, courageous service to the people, and pragmatic idealism within a democratic society. Let's see the video.
Sa 1960 to 70s, daghan tayong isda ning kabasalan. Mamaso lang mi diha sa kilid sa among kasubaan, makakuha nami 10 ngadto sa 20 kilos. Dali ra kaayo nya maglisod naman gani mi usay asa namo ibaligya. Pero sa ulahi nga nagahinahinay ang amo ang panguha sa isda, anam nami og kapobre, naglisod ng gid mi, halos hindi nami makapaeskwela sa among mga anak. Halos gani og mapapanagat mi, halos di namin makasundan og arang-arang nga grabe gyud kalisod. Dito nagsugod pagkadaghanan ng pag-illegal, dynamite fishing, kanya-kanya og klases panagat nga pagpanghilo, pagpagsayanan. Tanan na laro makakuha kis hangtod nga naabot sa punto nga wala na gyud. Unsa may atong buhaton? Ang una nakita namo nganong na nihit ug nawala ang mga isda tungod sa pagkawala sa mangrove. So una namong gihimo, nagbayanihan mi nga nano mi og mangroves. Sa 1994, nakatano mi og more or less 50 hectares of mangroves. So naghinay-hinay siya og labong amang. So nga hinahinay pud gabalik-gabalik ang among mga isda. Yan abot agad ang panahon pod kay sige mig bayanihan nga magtano og mangroves, maamot mi gasolina, mga kaon namo mangadto. So ang uban di namo amot sa pag-organize namo nga 36 mi ka buok, niabot ang panahon na 5 na lang gyud mi. Kanang 5 nga nabilin, kami na lang gyud gisabot-sabot saon man nato ni. Ang among gihimo na lang kada adto namo sa lawod, magdala mi og pila ka mga seedlings or planting materials kada agi dito sa tamnanan, magtano mi di managat mi. Hangtod niabot ang panahon nga nakita sa ubang mga ahensya ang among efforts. Nakapangita nami og mga pundo. Gikan sa 5 mi nibalik mi og kadaghan, hangtod naabot mi og 300. So dayon dito nakahimo mi og mga plano nga maayo, nagbuhi mi mga lapu-lapu, mga limango sa sulod. So dagan mi manahimo na mga livelihood. Nakakuha na mi lahi-lahing mga award. Ilabi na ako na ilang chairman, nakakuha ako og multinational awardee na na recognition. So dagan kayong nalipay. Sa nindot na ning among palibot, ang ubang mga barangay pusulod, muputol og mangroves, diri sila mangisda. So ang among gihimo, kay usay makadakop mi og mga illegal cutting sa among mangroves. Instead na among ipapriso, ang among gihimo ginadala namo sila sa among opisina, among gina-istoryahan. Kini dili ni maayo kay morning may tabo nya. Usay amo pa na silang pakanon. Subuto ang among gihimo, tuwa na mga uban mga community sa ilang barangay, amo silang gi-organize. Gikan sa isa ka barangay, duha, tatlo, hangtod nahurot namon yung mga barangay sa among munisipyo. So among gi-create sa 2013 ang kining kompas. So diya sa among kompas, mo na ang unsay among gihimo sa usa ka barangay, sa usa ka munisipyo, mo na among gipakuyanap karon og gi-expand mo throughout the 13 coastal municipalities of Zamboanga, Sibugay.
Dili sila dalo. They're very generous. Unsa ilang nahibaluan tanan-tanan ilang itudlo. Ingon pa nila, gusto nila nga daghanta nga mahayahay.
Ako kaputi naman po dang ni akong buhok gakaidara na may mga unang membro. So nga mo mga second liner o mga anak, mo among gipaningkamutan karon nya unta sila mo sunod ani o magpadayon ani among gihimo o gitrabaho. Di man nato mahimo ang tanan pagkakaron pero kami maningkamot may nga unta hangtod sangtod mahimo nato ni nga malipayon tantanan.
That was an inspiring story of Ka Dodoy, who is actually joining us tonight with the Philippine delegation. Hello, Ka Dodoy, and thank you for joining us tonight, despite we know that there's a challenging weather in your area right now, and you're having a tough time in connecting. But again, thank you so much for joining. I think we have Ka Dodoy here. Hello, Ka Dodoy. Magandang gabi po. Hi, sir. Good evening.
Magandang gabi. So I'm thankful for this leaders forum. Rare and family, and also to our leaders in the world. So thank you very much, and we always appreciate. And with another chance and another to walk what we are going to go there in our and to the house of this official folk leaders there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ka Dodoy. We understand, despite your difficulties in the connectivity right now because of the typhoon in the parts of the Philippines, you still pushed through and joined us tonight, and we are very happy to have you here as well. We will be hearing also some of the comments from our fisher leaders from around the globe on what they find similar in terms of the problems and the issues with the other countries later during our reflection session. Okay, so before we proceed with our next part and the next other statements, can I just get a temperature check for the room? Hello, can you give me a heart or a thumbs up or a smiley if you're still here with me tonight? I know it's been a long evening, but we're very thankful. Belize is giving us a thumbs up. Hello, thank you very much. Who else? Oh, our delegates from Indonesia are giving us a thumbs up, a heart. Philippines, of course, our secretariat team. We're very happy. People are still here, and thank you so much for tuning in. We're very happy that you're still here with us. All right. So before we proceed, just to give us a bit of another energizer, let's watch another video as we listen later to the statements, to the rest of the statements.
lives depend on the ocean. Our lives depend on the ocean. Our lives depend on the ocean. Our lives depend on the ocean.
I feel the breeze and it all comes to me. Fish in the sea and the air that we breathe. Our lives depend on the ocean, so we give to the ocean as it gives you and me.
And the rhythm of the water is like a beating drum. My heart swells like a wave and the wind pushes me on. 'Cause this is our ocean. We are the keepers of the sea. We ride the tide together, together to our dreams. 'Cause we all move with her, like ripples in the sea, like ripples in the ocean. I move you, you move me. And through the storm we are strong together, and together we will see our dreams. Our little ones, smiles, the sparkles in their eyes. We will see a coast rise and our hopes come alive, and our hopes come alive. Ito ang ating dagat,
Atravessa mag-alis, surfamos a maré.
y juntos nos movemos. We all move each other.
Como as ondas no mar.
Like ripples in the ocean. I move you, you move me. 'Cause this is our ocean. We are the keepers of the sea. We ride the tide together, together to our dreams. 'Cause we all move each other, like ripples in the sea, like ripples in the ocean. I move you, you move me, like ripples in the ocean. I move you, you move me. Our lives depend on the ocean. Our lives depend on the ocean. Our lives depend on the ocean.
And everything of the water.
Our lives depend on the ocean. Our lives depend on the ocean.
All right. That was Our Lives Depend on the Ocean video. And I was so excited looking at the gallery of participants, and some of you were dancing. Actually, I saw some participants from Siargao who were part of the video and they were dancing, and the rest of you were actually dancing while you were sitting on your seats. And that's exactly why we had that as part of our Energizer, because that's really a very wonderful video. Okay, so before we proceed with the rest of the statements for tonight, we hope our delegates from Mozambique will be ready to unmute themselves later. But first, again, we'd like to congratulate our representatives from Belize, from Brazil, from FSM, from Honduras, and of course from Indonesia for sharing their valuable insights in the statements that they were able to share a while ago. And then, as you will be able to see right now in our screen, we will project the current mural that captures the statement actually that were given by some of our delegates a while ago. So for Belize, you will be seeing that they were able to highlight the importance of giving the voices to their fishers and decision making, as well as investing in their no-take zones or the replenishment zones or the role of the youth. And then for Brazil, we have them highlighting co-management as well as addressing climate change and the role of women as guardians, and of course, conservation of mangroves as carbon sinks. For FSM, we have changing species composition and access to storage and post-harvest, as well as adoption of solar technologies. And for Honduras, they of course call for the government to prioritize artisanal fishing. And of course, Indonesia, they were very much happy to join us, and they call definitely also for sustainable fishing and law enforcement and monitoring. Again, thank you very much for our country facilitators. Thank you for assisting your delegates in typing their additional inputs. Please don't worry if you have additional comments and feedback. Please get in touch with your country representatives, and they should be able to put your inputs in our mural. So we have a real-time documenter right now capturing our statements. Thank you very much to our documenter. Now, we proceed with the rest of the statements. We begin with the delegate from Mozambique. Do we have Mr. Machimbi already online, sir?
Boa tarde, delegado de Moçambique. Aqui é Agostinho Matsimbi, Machangulo. Machangulo vive na base de pesca junto à comunidade. O maior número das mulheres vive na base de pesca. E que a parte da pesca nós deparamos com grandes constrangimentos quando captura de peixe para a cidade e quando haja um mau tempo ou contravento, chegamos na cidade e o peixe já tendo estragado. Pedimos um grande apoio para que haja uma pesca sustentável de Machangulo. E a comunidade, por sua vez, também respeita a mudança climática, conhece o que é a mudança climática. Só que deparamos também com grandes constrangimentos no período da veda e que não temos recurso nenhuma. E que pode haver um grande empurrões para que não ultrapassar as medidas adequadas de pesca e respeitarmos as pesqueiras. Muito obrigado. Tudo mais, Agostinho Matsimbi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Machimbe, and we apologize earlier for the technical glitch, and we're happy right now we are able to hear your sharing on the statement from the country and from the delegates of Mozambique. All right, we proceed with our next presenter. We have the delegate from the Philippines representing our fishers. Also, we had a technical glitch a while ago, so may we request Mr. Ray Caballejos to please introduce yourself and then proceed with your statement. Thank you very much, Sir Ray.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ray Caballejos, fisherman, resident at San Benito, Siargao. My fishing hobby activity is spear fishing and handline fishing. Most fish I have caught is mackerel and barracuda, local name Mangayho, Rumpi Candado, and Tribali. I've been fishing since I'm 15 years old until now. So now, since Siargao Island is hit Super Typhoon Rai, my fishing activities is not every day. Sometimes and more on Saturdays and Sundays. And I have engaged, I'm technical working group member and coastal resource management here in our local government unit. So now, my to ensure effective implementation of coastal resource and fisheries management programs, AUU has been raised as a critical issue that need to be addressed. Therefore, we call on policymakers, executive leaders, and law enforcers to co-develop programs to improve compliance with fishery management laws, to identify mechanism for incentivizing and supporting the Bantay Dagat in line with existing national government programs in municipal waters as well as protected areas, and to issue guidelines on the establishment of GATS documentation and traceability system for coastal local government units in order to provide better assessment of municipal waters and fishing grounds and facilitate sharing of best practices. To increase ecological and social resilience of coastal communities, adaptation measures must be developed and implemented in addressing gaps and issues related to climate change. This sector has been raised as another critical concern to be addressed. Therefore, we call our national government and relevant stakeholders to prioritize climate change and coastal resource and fisheries management in their local plans and programs, as well as identify ways to finance programs related to climate change and sustainable coastal resource and fisheries management programs. To recognize the fact that many coastal local government units have been implemented innovative, participatory, and transparent governance of coastal and fisheries resources, which has led to improvements in fisherfolk's livelihoods and status of fisheries habitats. We call our national leaders and leaders around the globe to continue consultation to issue guidelines that may be embodied in an ordinance to secure access and preferential rights of municipal fisherfolks over the use of the municipal waters. To properly establish networks of MPAs and establishing management access areas together with sanctuaries, and enhance the ability to meet ecological, biological, and social community goals. We call on our fellow fisheries leaders, policymakers, executives, and other relevant stakeholders to assist coastal communities in the assessment of their existing MPAs and fish sanctuaries and provide technical and financial assistance to make them functional. Likewise, promote and recognize MPA networks as an important strategy to protect critical fishery habitats and species. To address difficulties in financing resources management initiatives with such funding constraints, hampering ability to sustain CFRM programs, we call on our national leaders and other relevant stakeholders to allocate a permanent recurring budget for the full implementation of sustainable coastal resource and fisheries management programs in all coastal municipalities. Likewise, we call our fellow fish leaders to ensure adequate monitoring, reporting, and verification system when implementing its projects and programs to identify best practices that will inform policymaking and ensure programs are self-sustaining. Thank you for inviting me in this event. God bless.
Thank you very much for sharing to us the statement from the Philippines, Mr. Ray Caballejos of Siargao, Philippines. Of course, our delegates from the Philippines have been consistent from the National Coastal Fisheries Summit that they conducted in 2019. They were able to sustain what they really wanted to focus in terms of their sustainable fisheries. Thank you again, Philippines. All right, last but definitely not the least, to share to us the statement from their delegates, we have from Palau, Mr. Omar Faustino, to read the statement. Hi, sir.
Hi, thank you, Joyce. I appreciate the introduction. I'm going to reintroduce myself. I'm Omar Faustino. I'm a member of the Palau Aquaculture Alliance, and I'm also an avid supporter and a leader in the coastal fisheries in my state of Malino. We just concluded our Fishers Dialogue this evening, and we have an output statement that has been completed with various fishing leaders in the community. So if that's okay, if we have time, I'll just briefly read the output statement. So here goes. We, fishers leaders proudly representing our coastal communities in the Republic of Palau, where fish is our main protein and is our main source of food security, are committed to securing and preserving our reefs to be resilient in the fact of climate change. The face of climate change. We are asking global leaders to acknowledge fisheries as a vital source of our livelihoods. In closing, we would like to emphasize that in an effort to preserve our livelihood as fishers, we commit to the following: teaching our children how to fish sustainably, supporting fisher community throughout extension programs, I'm sorry, my eyes are not that good anymore. Or supporting fishers communities through extensive programs, that's what I said before, and then supporting fishers to implement sustainable management measures, enhancing prosperity and security through aquaculture, maintaining the health of Palau marine biodiversity and ecosystem, So these are just some of the output statements that we put together as a community and as fisher leaders of Palau. And we hope that the statements are a baseline or our starting point of what we are working towards in terms of fisheries in Palau. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Omar, and the rest of our delegates from Palau. Thank you very much, everyone, for your wonderful insights. And again, thank you for our delegates from Palau for staying. I'm pretty sure you have a very long day today, and it's pretty late already in Palau, but you are still here with us, proving the point that you definitely value the wonderful opportunity to be able to have dialogue with your co-fisher leaders from around the world. And they are, as you can see, equally happy to still stay with us up until this time, to be able to also hear from the rest of your co-fisher leaders from the rest of our FF countries. And again, at this point, we will be sharing in the screen, again, the mural, our real-time documentation, which capture the statements that were made earlier by our country representatives. So for our next activity, and this is quite important for everyone right now, we will spend the next 20 minutes providing our reflections on the statements that were made by our co-leaders and co-fisher leaders from the other countries. So at this point, I would like to request our country facilitators to please get in touch with your delegates from your country so that you are able to facilitate their inputs for the questions that we will be projecting right now. So as you can see, we will have three major questions. The first that is in Zoom right now is the yellow card. That is the first question that we will be given 5 to 6 minutes to answer and give inputs. You may actually type your answers in the chat box. So our first question is, from among the statements that were given by the different fisher leaders from the different countries, which statement, which keywords stood out to you as important or interesting or surprising? Again, from all of the statements that were given by your co-fisher leaders from the different parts of the world, which stand out to you as surprising or interesting, or you think and agree that is important? Okay, we'll give you 5 minutes to answer that. Again, you can type your answers in the chat box. Our documenters will capture them and then put them in the mural. So we'll also be asking our tech team to provide us a good vibe music so that everyone will be able to think and about their reflections and about the important keywords that they have learned from their co-fisher leaders. All right, 5 to 6 minutes for the first question. Out of the statements that were given to you earlier, which do you think stood out as important, interesting, and surprising? Okay. Okay, time's up. That's for our first question, but don't worry. If you still have answers, please just continue to drop them in the chat box or connect with your country facilitator to help them input it in our mural. All right, in the interest of time, let's proceed to our next reflection question. So you can see in our screen right now is the green card. And our second question is, from the statements that were given by your co-Fisher leaders, what similarities and differences in problems, solutions, and call to actions have you noticed? Again, from the statements that were given by your co-Fisher leaders, what similarities and differences have you noticed in terms of the problems, solutions, and call to action? Okay, once again, 5 minutes for that. Country leaders, please get in touch with your delegates. All right, we can add more later on our second question. Please continue to type in your answers in the chat box so that your country facilitators can put them in our mural. Okay, for our final reflection question, we now move on to our blue cue cards, our set of cards. So you will see now the third question is, what would you like global leaders to hear from you? So this would be your message to global leaders. What would you like your global leaders to hear from you? Okay, you may type your answers in the chat box so that our documenters are able to put them here. So we're seeing already a lot of answers from our delegates for the first and the second question. So we are now currently completing our set of reflection questions. With the third question, what would you like global leaders to hear from you? What would you like global leaders to hear from you? Okay, while you're answering that, I will be looking at the first two questions, and I will be sharing some of them so that you'll be able also to hear some of the inputs that were made by our delegates. Okay, for the first question on what stood out for them as important or interesting or surprising, some of our delegates actually added they find it interesting to see the inclusion of the youth and in making sure also mangroves as the main blue carbon sequester, mangrove providing life, and of course they also found it interesting in terms of including or implementing solar energy. Of course, very important for them, food security, guaranteeing the future of our children, manage access areas, that's what hit them, of course, preserve and protect, conserve, protection of habitats, fisher-to-fisher exchanges, climate change, which is affecting fishers and coastal communities worldwide. And of course, some of you said it's very important to have effective implementation with budget allocation and of course, capable personnel. All right, for our second question, that's the green card. These are the things that you find that are similar or are different from your country. So these were the sharing. Okay, so you found similarities in terms of issues in terms of mangrove destruction. So this is a common problem, not just for one country, but in the rest of the delegates as well. They found it very common also. Commonalities on issues still. A lot of you also found similarities in terms of lack of support from the government. And then also some of you were keen on pointing out that despite, of course, the lack of support from government, you actually have different governance and legislation across countries. So there's a different kinds of legislations and policies in terms of fisheries in the different countries. And then those are the differences that you noticed. And then you also noticed that it's very important to take a hold of or monitor fish stocks in terms of sustaining the management of your coastal fisheries. And of course, most importantly, you think that it's important to have a call to action to all of the stakeholders that is involved in the fishery. So not just specific leader, for example, or not just a specific politician, but to all stakeholders that are involved in the fisheries. Also, you noted that together we think that we are able to build managed access plus reserves in the areas of our oceans, and all fishers hopefully will be speaking in the same language. And I'm pretty sure that this language right now is sustainable fisheries. We may be speaking in different literal languages, but we are all having the same goal, and we're looking really to improve and hopefully prioritize for the government and other stakeholders to prioritize sustainable fishing. All right, and finally, our last question for reflections for this evening. What would you like global leaders to hear from you? And a lot of you gave your inputs here. So fishers must be recognized. You said it's important to adopt climate resilient plans. It's important also to strengthen the dialogues with fishers and stakeholders. So you, of all people, should be the first and foremost to be consulted in terms of issues and problems in your sector. And of course, you need to be consulted as well in terms of the solutions for these problems. And then you said it's important also to tell our global leaders that there is much needed support still for the fishery laws, support for artisanal fishers. And you said that it's important to maintain the health of our marine ecosystems. And of course, it's important to involve our children in all of the activities as we are preserving and managing the resources for them. So it's very important that our children are already involved right from the start. They are aware already of these issues and gaps, as well as hopefully they are able to become part of the solutions. Okay, a round of applause for everyone. Can I see a heart and a thumbs up from our participants? And thank you very much for your reflections, for sharing your insights. And of course, before we end, we definitely have to show you the keywords that we captured that hopefully you will agree. We will draft the statement. So the purpose of this actual dialogue is really to collect or gather your insights into a common statement that we can present to the global leaders during the ministerial meeting on April 14. So we will summarize all of your inputs. And just before you go, I hope to get your acknowledgements or verification if we should be able to capture these statements in our collective statement together. Okay, so let's proceed now to our next activity, which is summarizing the statement together. And we will now go back to the third part of our mural. You will see again the mural in our screen. And then below that, there are three major buckets, which will be the format or the outline of our statement, which will be presented to our global leaders. So first is you would see the red triangle, which would contain the keywords for our purpose. So we have categorized here. So for us to be able to present these statements, do you agree that we present this to the global leaders at our Ocean Conference, which is happening this week? We also want to present this to the rest of the similar platforms like the UN Ocean Summit and EAFA 2022. So at this point, I would like to see a thumbs up or a heart or a happy emoticon or a yes in the chat box if you agree that the purpose of us summarizing these statements is that we will be able to present it to our global leaders. Do you agree that we will present this to our global leaders? Okay, we're seeing a heart and a thumbs up from our delegates from Indonesia. We're seeing a heart and a thumbs up from our delegates from Mozambique as well, and from Palau, of course, and from the Philippines. So very big heart. All right, thank you very much. So definitely you agree that for the purpose of our statement is for us to be able to show this to our global leaders in the platforms, the relevant platforms. Okay, the next major bucket will now contain the bold statements. And again, at this point, I'd like to see a thumbs up and a heart if you agree to the statement. So let me go through the statements. If we can have our documenter show to us our first statement so that our here we go. Our first statement is we have to acknowledge the importance of listening to our fishers and prioritizing their needs when making decisions to address overfishing and the threats to fisheries. So do you agree to prioritize the fishers? Let me see a thumbs up and a heart if you agree in the statement. Okay, we're seeing a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Okay, our delegates, Mr. Tamay, thank you very much for the thumbs up. Okay, second phrase. Do you agree that we need to protect 30% of the world's ocean in order to increase the mangrove forests, the estuaries, and small island ecosystems? Do you agree that we need to protect the world's oceans to increase mangrove forests, estuaries, and small ecosystems? Do you agree with that? Should we include that in the statement? Okay, we're seeing a thumbs up. Thank you very much from our delegates. They agree. Ayun, we have a lot of thumbs up in the chat box as well. All right, for our third statement, do you agree it is important to diversify livelihoods beside fishing? Is it important to diversify livelihoods beside fishing in order to relieve pressure on our fisheries? Okay, we're seeing a thumbs up from our Indonesian delegates. Thank you very much, Indonesia. Thank you very much. We're not just seeing a thumbs up, we're also seeing a great smile from our Indonesian delegates. We also have Mr. Tamay. Thank you very much. Mozambique, thank you very much. Honduras. Okay, fourth, we need to prioritize climate change, include climate change and coastal resource and fisheries management in our local plans. Do you agree? We need to include climate change and coastal resources in our local plans. Okay, we're seeing
Agree.
Brazil. Thank you very much, Brazil. Agree. Wow. Thank you very much for unmuting yourself and agreeing. Thank you. Fifth and final one. Do you agree that we provide a seat at the table for women, youth, and other vulnerable sectors to become representative and become leaders for sustainable future? Do you agree representation from youth and women and other vulnerable sector? Wow, we're seeing a thumbs up. We're hearing agree also, and we're seeing chat box filled with thumbs up. Thank you very much. Okay, finally, our last symbol, the green circle. You're seeing the green circle. This will be our call to action. So all these statements will be included in our common statement that will be presented to our leaders. Our call to action, again, thumbs up if you agree. Do you agree that we include giving a voice to our fishers, women, youth, and other vulnerable sector in making sure that we share the responsibility? We're seeing a thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up. Thank you very much. And do you agree that we also include expanding the network of no-take zones? Do you agree? We're seeing Brazil. Thank you very much. We're seeing...
Agree, ma'am, agree.
Yun, we're hearing agree. Thank you very much, Philippines. And then finally, we have two more. Okay, one is to give local fishers the rights to fish in certain areas, to ensure that licensed, responsible fishers benefit from the replenishment zones. Do you agree to give fisher rights? We're seeing a thumbs up from Brazil. The company of Sir Tamay, thank you very much. Okay, and finally, do you agree to allocate a permanent recurring investment or allocation or budget for our full implementation of the Coastal Resource and Fisheries Management Program? Money allocation for our sector, agree. All right, we're seeing a thumbs up. Thank you very much. And again, thank you so much. Please give a clap for everyone. Thank you so much for your inputs. And before we end this event, of course, let us all give ourselves and your partners a pat in the back for the wonderful inputs that you have shared this evening and today. So on our end, we really feel honored to have all of your insights and to hear from you and to listen from your co-leaders as well. And we're happy that we're able to create together a common statement that we can share also to our global leaders and in the other similar platforms that will represent and give a voice to our fisher leaders. So we will be polishing the statement that you gave to us. So the ones that you see in mural, we will draft that and polish that, and then we will return that to you for you to sign off and agree and verify, so that we will be able to share it during the ministerial dialogue this week on the 14th as an official statement coming from our fisher leaders from around the globe who are represented right now. Likewise, the videos and the outputs of the countries and the global dialogues will also be shared by our partner EDF in the Small Scale Fisheries Hub, and will be used as an input for other global gatherings such as the UN Oceans in 2022 June and other FAO IAFA events. So lastly, before we close, can I go back again to the gallery view and see a thumbs up and a heart if you agree that you have been heard, you feel that your concerns and the ideas of your fisheries in the communities were valuable? Yeah, we're seeing a thumbs up, we're seeing a heart, we're seeing from Mozambique. Thank you very much, Mozambique. And then last two, we also agreed that your concerns and ideas in this event were valuable. The others' learnings were also valuable to you. Do you agree? Okay, we're seeing a thumbs up. Okay, and then finally, our shared statement for the global leaders reflects the needs of my community. Our shared statement for the global leaders reflects the needs of my community. Yes, I'm getting a smile. All right. Thank you very much. And again, at this point, please open your videos. Please open your videos so that we can have our group photo before ending our session this evening. Okay, I'll wait for everyone to turn on their videos. Okay. Okay, we have everyone on the screen. We'll ask our tech team to help us in capturing. We're also being streamed live on YouTube, and this is recorded, so we will be able to have our screenshots as you open your cameras. So smile, everyone. Again, thank you very much for joining us in the Fisher Leaders Dialogue. And on behalf of our organizers from RARE and EDF, and of course our country teams, facilitators, program teams, supporting our delegates, Cafe Coms, this is Joyce Barafon. I'm signing off for the evening. Thank you very much. Thank you. Until next time. Bye-bye. cute. There's a picture on the screen. Wait. I'll have to take a screen cap of that. So cute. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. You leave now.